and spaces are accessible now. You just have to go there. And if a trauma happened to you as a child, which it has to all of us, because we've all been told off, or worse, if it felt really scary and you went into fight, flight and had that horrible body chemistry, you cut and run. You actually leave that little bit of yourself there and you get out of that situation as fast as you can. But it calls you back because you left a part of yourself there behind. Doesn't mean you're not whole, because you are, but you might be a bit scattered. So the idea of shamanic soul retrieval is to go there and heal yourself and bring yourself back home and bring yourself back into this moment, which is exactly the same as inner child work, isn't it? You go back there, you find that part of you, you heal it, and you say, I'll parent you from now on, I'm going to champion you, no, you'll never feel like this again, I'm taking you home with me. And we do that in shamanic practice. A lot of us do it without saying anything. Unfortunately, it's probably worked out. I am not capable of that. Sometimes I'm capable of that, but I usually sort of do a bit of a hypnotherapy kind of soul retrieval, talking at the same time, so that the person's involved and I'm not just doing it passively. Everybody all right so far? Any questions? Right. So, yes, yeah. So, so I was trying to think of shamanic practice that looks like modern psychotherapy, and another thing that we do is entity removal. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah. Have you ever had that done? No. You have? Yeah. I won't. So entity removal is all about attachment. So in that fearful place when we're children, we develop attachment to things that make us feel safe, our favourite stuff, our toys, our possessions. We do it as adults, don't we? Make a lovely car and a nice phone. Actually, I'm not that keen on my phone. But and our relationships as well. Cling on to people who we know make us feel nourished and that we're doing all right, because that makes us feel safe in the tribe. We cling on to habits as well, ways of behaving that make us feel safe. And entity removal is about saying, actually, those things are maybe outmoded. Can we maybe be okay to detach? And when you do shamanic healing, you're working within the energy field of somebody who can feel where the blockages are, and you use your blowing and your rattling and your feathers and all of that stuff to work with the energy. But in the modern world, you can also talk to the person and be doing some kind of psychotherapeutic sort of intervention as well. Or you tend to gauge where the person is and what they want and how they want to be a sort of how they want the intervention to go, and it's a shared experience. So that and anybody had past life regression or yes, yeah, okay. Yeah. So past life regression, again, if you go back to the theory of everything happening all at once, all in one time, or collective consciousness, it doesn't mean you necessarily, absolutely, you as you are now lived in another body. Not necessarily. A lot of people do believe that. Or there is a part of collective consciousness that is yours to heal. So there are lots and lots of ways of thinking about these things, which means that we are liberated and free to think whatever we like and believe about it whatever we like, and there are no real rules. Okay, everybody happy and comfortable? Yes? Right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the drum, and then we'll do some practical. Anybody got a shamanic drum? Yes, you do. No? Yeah, okay. So, did you birth it yourselves? Okay. My first drum, I didn't birth myself. My second one is that one there. I did. It's like a big grandmother drum. That's the biggest. Everybody's got drum envy when they look at that, because it's huge. It's buffalo. Do you know how the drums are birthed? So we birth drums in ceremony. I've just been talking about the fact that it's full moon and all the skins are in my garden. My husband's like, oh, drum skins, that's great, all over the garden furniture, because the full moon is out and there's going to be a lunar eclipse, and we do it on energetic days. We connect with the land, we use plant spirit, we connect with the deer, and we connect with the wood that makes the drum, so that every part of the drum that has come together to be birthed is connected to me. And we do it in ceremony, and we talk about our intentions for the drum, and then we journey and listen to what the drum has in store for us, what it's going to give us. And then you create, and also use the 4 elements. So there's always water, because you've got to have dampness on the skin to stretch it over the frame. Earth, because of the wood and the land that we are on. Fire, because you need the heat to dry the drum out. And also creative fire. I love talking about fire in terms of it's the fire in your belly, it's creativity, and brings everybody together. Fire brings everybody together. I'm going to talk about a metaphorical bonfire in the middle of here when we do our drumming, because everybody will have come in here with some stuff that's nothing to do with coming to listen to me. Whether you're cut up in the car park, or there's somebody parked right next to you and drove over a bit of grass, that was me. Or whether you've had an argument with somebody, or you've been to work and you've not quite finished your paperwork, you need to go back and do it, whatever. Or I've got a teenage son who's being a pain. You'll have come in with something that isn't anything to do with this, and you'll have gone, right, I'll just put that over there and I'm going to focus on this session. Or you've come in with a headache, or you've come in with a bit of illness. And by the end of the session, it will have shifted somewhere. And whatever you've discarded goes into our metaphorical bonfire in the centre of here, because we're all gathered around a circle and fire transmutes. Nothing goes into the fire and leaves unchanged. So we will dump all our stuff after drumming in the fire and watch it burn and turn into something positive. Air, talked about drying the drums, did I? Water, air, yes I have talked about all 4 elements. What does a drum do? It takes you into an altered state of awareness, I've covered that already, and brings you home again. So a different drum beat brings you back to full wakefulness. I used to say trans-termination when I'm teaching hypnotherapy, we call it trans-termination, but I read the other day, fully alert your client. I thought that was a really odd way of phrasing it. Make sure you've fully alerted your client at the end of the session. Anyway, so it takes you back. So after the soporific drum, where you've been journeying, a quicker drum beat brings you back to your place of being back here again, wide awake again. Yes, Susan.
Is that based in research then, Chrissie?
3 to 4 beats per minute. Yes, I can share that with you if you would like me to. There's an article that I wrote on our Resilient Practice website, which has got all of the research in terms of brain waves and altered states of awareness. Yes, it is. Yes, because I'm a physiotherapist, I often have to go and find the research that says before I say things, so I definitely know that to be true. So it brings you home. If you have come in not feeling very well, quite often you don't get visions and you don't journey because you prioritise with the body and you just get a really lovely healing. So you might have 20 minutes of me drumming and think, oh, I feel a bit better now. Headache's intensified, and then later on maybe it's gone, maybe it's shifted. But if you can't see something, then accept that today you can't see something because something else is going on, and just accept whatever's happening will be absolutely right for you. So it heals. When we do drum healing in clinic, no evidence to prove this, the drum absorbs all your rubbish. So I have to sage and cleanse the drum. This is where I step outside of science. There's a small bridge between the two. But the drum, you will drum around somebody's energetic field. And weirdly, the drum changes tone when you reach a blockage. Always in the same place, and you think, yeah, that's... So when you start talking about chakras and things like that, it's all of this sort of modern healing techniques. When you think about chakras, yoga, it all ties in together. So it absorbs your rubbish, poor thing, but that's what it came to do. And when we birth a drum, when it's dry, 5 days later, we connect it to our own heartbeat. It becomes yours. You set your own intentions for it, and no one can ever touch it. And if they do, you have to come and have it cleansed by somebody like me. And I always say to people who are birthing a drum with me, at a cost, because I think, don't all be asking me on a Friday night to cleanse your drums and let someone touch it. So it is yours, it's your sacred companion, and don't think you need just one, because can you imagine how many drums I've got?
Did they all used to have drums then in the early civilisations?
Say that again, sorry.
When this was first established, and I believe it probably was from the first man walking around, it's interesting to me how they developed the drum.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And
Yes.
did they all have their own unique drum?
Yeah, I would love to know that, and I don't think there's any way to know, is there? But yeah, it's nice
Just
to speculate.
speculating.
But yeah, although you could set the intention
Yeah.
to journey to find out and see what you see, and you might feel more enlightened. So connects to the self, connects to the heartbeat. A drum connects humans. You're going to find that out in a minute, because it's brought us all together today, hasn't it? Because you all knew I was coming and thought, oh yeah, let's go and do that. And it's brought us together, so it's connected us, hasn't it? And it connects you to spirit, or higher consciousness, or collective consciousness. Whatever you believe it to be, it connects you to that which is unseen in the physical world. And the shamanic journey, I don't believe in rules. Somebody once told me you can only have one power animal, and I thought, well, I don't think so, love, because I've got loads. But I don't believe in rules, but it is generally understood throughout the cultures that there are three worlds. There's upper world. Upper world is where your angels, your higher consciousness, gods and goddess-like types like Ganesh and Kali, that's where you tend to go up out of your axis mundi and do certain things in upper world. Middle world is here but unseen. So you could walk out of your front door in a journey and be in middle world. It's the human world, but the psychic sort of side of it, and that's where you need protection, because not everybody in middle world is singing from the same hymn sheet. You've got to watch your back. But as long as you've got your guides with you and you're protected, I'll talk about that in a minute. And then there's lower world, and lower world is the safest place to begin. And you would usually find a hole in the ground or a trunk of a tree or a cave and go down. And what you'll find in lower world is it's very tooth and claw, it's skins, and there will be people, but it's animals and plants and rocks, and there's no iPhones or, but it connects you to spirit, to consciousness, to whatever this is. And when we journey for self, we start at a particular place. We look for an axis mundi, a place on the earth from where we can go. So it might be the trunk of a tree, or it might be a cave, as I've just said. And maybe we ask to go down, and maybe we'll have a power animal given to us, or we'll see something, or we'll be told something, or maybe nothing will happen, or maybe we'll see colours, or maybe we'll feel heat or cold or lightness. Whatever happens for us is what needs to happen for us in that experience. And some people will journey hugely one week and then another week see nothing but not feel very well and get healing. But it helps to sometimes set an intention. I would like to be shown some more information about this issue, and you might want to call your guides forward, or you might want to set the intention to meet a guide, to have a guide step forward to journey with you shamanically, or to meet a power animal. You set the intention in very much the same way as you ask a question when you douse, or when you read oracle cards and things like that. Just the intention as to what I think I want to do today. If it's just a case of experiencing the journey, then let's see what comes from it. Really great question to ask is the question that half of the drum circle ask on the first one is, am I imagining this? So I'm coming back to your brain is full of images that you have picked up throughout your lifetime or lifetimes, from encyclopedias, television programs, meeting people, travelling. Like I say, the yogis will know what all the gods and goddesses look like that they've worked with. You might have seen you've got loads and loads of images for whatever this is, consciousness, spirit, to work with. So if I am doing an entity removal and I reach a blockage and I suddenly think, ugh, that looks a bit like an eel, all I'm getting is images of eels, slimy, slippery, cold, wet. Doesn't mean it's an eel. Now, my shamanic teacher would say it's an eel-like entity, but actually it's slimy, it's slippery, it's cold, it's wet. That's the nature of the energy. And what do I have in my head? Well, I'm flicking through a little cardex of images, eels. So that's what comes up. So that's how we get messages, is that, and yes, of course you're imagining it. That's what your imagination is. It's a collection of images, and you need that. But why would an eel come into my head on that particular, journey? on that, or that particular healing, if it wasn't that the energy was a bit boggy and stagnant and cold. Does that make sense? So if you feel you're imagining it, brilliant, go with it, because you're not imagining a particular thing for no reason at all. There are no coincidences. Sometimes we're absolutely bombarded with images, and I would say pick one and just focus on that. And the best questions to ask are, show me more, or can I have some more information? Can you take me back in time a little bit and show me what happened before this? Can you show me more information about this? Can you enlighten me as to what this means? Can you show me some different images? If you meet a guide, often people like to ask for a name. They'll just give you any name if you're desperate for a name. But actually, how will I know you is a good question to ask, because sometimes you might get a little bit of heat on one side of your neck. And then if you're kind of in traffic and you're about to shout at somebody, or somebody stuck two fingers up at you, and you feel your neck heat up a bit, you think, oh, that's interesting, that's my guide, or that has brought in mind my guide, and it doesn't, say no coincidences. So, if nothing else, you will have a relaxing experience, and you will be able to say, I did a shamanic drumming journey and had a sound bath, and hopefully it'll be lovely. So, before we do it, does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Are you all ready for having a go? Excellent, good. So let me just tell you what I'm going to do. So to begin with, when I first start drumming, I will call in the 4 directions, because it's a ritualistic thing that we do to set the energy to be right. And we're going to imagine we've got a fire in the centre where we can chuck all our rubbish, so that we don't just fling it out for somebody else to latch onto. So that's for transmutation at the end of the session. If when I start drumming, you can kind of just allow yourself to imagine a place out in nature, let it come to you, and you might see that there's a little hole or a somewhere to go. But before that, imagine a kind of an umbrella of protection around you, and look for any leaks in it and seal it up with whatever if you find a bit of paste on the floor, or you've got a blowtorch, and just envisage yourself as protected and ask for protection, because that's all you need to do is ask for protection, and you are protected. And then either set an intention or just go with whatever comes with you, and it'll be interesting to share experiences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drum for probably about 15 minutes, and then I will drum a bit faster, and then that's to come back a little bit to the room, but keep your eyes closed and stay relaxed. When I stop drumming, I'll do a sound bath, and then what often happens is the images that you got when you were journeying will crystallise into something else because of the sounds. And one thing to say about the sounds is that sometimes they're irritating. So there is a rattle that I've had threatened, we are going to hide that, you're not playing that anymore. There's also a little bell, not a fan of the bell, Chrissie. Oh, I don't like that great big booming thing that you use. Okay, when we feel irritated by something, it brings up all the things that are irritating us. How brilliant is that? So you can sit with the irritation and go, right, I'm going to heal this, so I never need to feel that irritation again, and sit with it. As you would do with your headache, sit with that headache, sit with the feeling rubbish. If it comes up, if it intensifies, that's your opportunity to sit with it and transmute it and see if you can shift it in some way or another. You might find that your guides come and help you in some way to kind of shift it. If anybody does feel uncomfortable and wants to stop, please do so. Leave the room, stop, or open your eyes, whatever you need to do, because it's about you, this session. Okay? Pretty happy?
So I have a problem, because in sound baths they don't tell us to put protective whatever.
Well, in a sound bath, I suppose you're not really going... You are slipping into an altered state of awareness, and you should be protected in that state, but you're not journeying into any of
If you're not
those.
specifically asking, I always feel I am protected.
Yeah, well, that you are then.
Is there a problem if you don't remember to... That's what I'm saying.
Is there a problem if you don't remember to protect yourself? would say that you can be approached by stuff that maybe is from your own subconscious, things that feel a bit sketchy, just in life, especially in middle world. Not everybody's got your best interests at heart, and you just have to watch your back, don't you? Because if we are far too trusting of everything, we look like prey. But the rule is, if something approaches you and you feel it's a bit sketchy, you ask, do you come with love? That's the first thing. Well, something can come with love and still be a bit mischievous or not very evolved. Are you happy to evolve in this space? That's a good question. And if you're not happy, because whatever it is can't lie because you allowed it in. So if no, they're not here to evolve, you can tell them to leave, and they have to leave. So you're protected in that way. But if you always feel you're protected, then you are. But just ask that you be protected. Everybody's got protection and guides available to them. So just ask, please draw round and protect me. I'm going to journey.
We go to a meeting where they firmly believe in grounding yourself.
Yes.
Every morning, particularly if you're going out, to protect yourself from others by creating
a bubble
or something.
Circle of light.
One man said he steps into his suit and he zips it up like a spaceman, just to protect, to ground yourself. That's what they say. And protect yourself before you absorb anything else in.
Any other energy.
We call that with the medics an empathy bubble, because they take on everybody's rubbish when people are poorly or upset or complaining. That it's the same thing. It's the suggestion of some kind of protection. However it appears to you depends what's in your cardex of images. But yeah, absolutely envisaging yourself, and that material only allows in things that are positive and good for you. But I'm glad you mentioned grounding. Because in as a shamanic healer, we aim to be like a hollow bone. So the idea is you lie in the flow of life. So you're a conduit between heaven and earth, the cosmos, everything that's up there, gods and goddesses, divine self, and the earth that your body's made out of, and that energy flows through. But if we get triggered or upset by something or bothered by something, we catch it and it gets stuck, and then before long you've got a dam. And it's fear of having something taken away, or somebody, flirting with your husband, or somebody telling you you're not very good at your job, those sorts of things, that because again it makes us feel like we're kicked out of the tribe. We catch on to things and we become less